In this video, I'm going to talk about debits and credits. By the way, this is the last part of my How to Journalize series. So hopefully after this one, you can prepare journal entries. So let's start. Debit versus credit. So in books, you will be seeing DR. So that's debit and CR for credit. It's DR because of the word debere and CR because of the word credere. Anyway, when we say debit, it's the left side, while credit, this is the right side. You may read in some books that when we say debit, it's the value received, and then for credit, it's value parted with. It may work, but it's not really conclusive, because if you try to apply that in different account titles, it will not work. So for me, the best way to explain debits and credits is by just referring to the sides. Debit, left side, credit, right side. That's it. So to make sense of this left side and right side, I will give you an overview of how a journal entry looks like. In the first column, you have columns here. You will be writing the date, and after that, you will start writing your account titles, starting with your debit, left side. For example, cash, this is the left side. And then, you will indent and place an account title on the right side. For example, capital. So capital here is the right side. And then here, you will write the amount of the cash. And here, you will write the amount of your capital. And you may want to provide an explanation here, but usually I don't require this. And that's it. No? By the way, we don't write peso signs in the amounts. So here you go. You write a date, and then you start with your debit, left side, and then you will indent right after that to write your credit, right side, and then you will place the amount. So whenever you will be debiting something on account title, you place it there if you want to debit. If you want to credit, you place it here. You always start with your debit. You cannot start with credit and then debit. I will now be giving the rules. And these rules, you may want to memorize at first, but with practice, this becomes automatic. To give you the rules, I will write down the elements: assets, liabilities, equity. And equity, you have elements, right? You have 4: capital, drawing, revenue, and then expense. And from the last video, you notice that for every account title, I'm indicating the movement, like cash increase, cash decrease, right? So I will do the same thing here. I will write the increase and also the decrease. So I'll start with assets. All of the account titles I discuss under assets will apply here because I haven't discussed contra assets yet. So for example, let's have some account titles: cash, accounts receivable, land, and you have others. I have it in the second video. So whenever you increase these account titles, cash, accounts receivable, land, building, short-term investment, you have other things, you will debit. Meaning, you place it left side. If you want to decrease, just get the other side, credit. How about liabilities? Let's think of account titles under liabilities. You have accounts payable, notes payable, mortgage payable. So if you have these obligations and you increase the value of that obligation in your analysis, you will credit it. But if you want to decrease the value, you just get the opposite side, debit. Now let's have the elements of equity. For capital, if you want to increase capital, you will credit. For decreases, debit. For drawing, if you want to increase, debit. So this credit. Revenue, if you want to increase, credit, debit. Then for expense, debit, credit. But for journalizing, the basic one, all elements under equity are increasing. Meaning, you don't really need to memorize this 4, the decrease in your equity elements. Because these 4, capital, drawing, revenue, and expense, they will always increase in your journal entry unless you make correcting entries, which is another topic, or make adjusting entry, which is another topic. But for journalizing, basic, these 4 will always increase. What you need to remember now, or what you need to memorize now, would be movements of your assets, movements of your liabilities, and then increases of the elements in your equity. Sir, how come decrease in capital will not happen? Just to give you an example, if you want to decrease your capital, you will debit, right? But you don't do that. If you want to decrease your capital because you pulled out money, instead of debiting your capital, you will instead debit drawing because you have drawing here. That's the point, no? If you want to increase your capital, yes, you credit. If you want to decrease because you pulled out money, you don't decrease your capital. You increase your drawing. That's why in journal entry, decrease in capital will not happen. So, try to master this one. And what I will do now is go to our screen last time when I analyze some business transactions. But before going there, make sure you get this template because we will be applying this one. So, you can post the video, copy what I have here before you try to play this video again. Hello? So, we are here. Now, we will apply what I discussed earlier and hopefully you have the rules. So here, what happened is cash increase. So this is asset, right? If cash increase, you will debit. And if capital increase, you will credit. That's why in the entry, it would look like this. January 1, debit cash, credit capital, and then write the amount. And then sometimes you want to write an explanation below, but for me, if you can do the debits and credits, you're good. So this is the journal entry. So let's try this one. If cash decrease, you will credit. And if you want to increase the drawing, you will debit. By the way, you have to remember, I forgot to mention it earlier. Your debit should equal your credit. Again, what you debited should equal to what you credited. So let's proceed. Let's journalize. This is January 2. What's your debit? Drawing. Right? And you credit cash. So it's 100, 100. This is your journal entry. And again, your debit should equal your credit. So your debit is 100, credit 100. So it's good. Okay? So I'll just continue. So this one is credit, while this one is debit. So in your entry, January 3, debit salaries expense, credit cash, 2020. Next, this one, asset increase, so you debit, service revenue increase, so credit. So in your entry, January 4, debit accounts receivable, credit, service revenue. How much is this? 15. So hopefully you're getting it. This is how you do it. You analyze, you master the rules in debits and credits, and then you apply, you have a journal entry. So I'll continue. Supplies increase, so that's debit. Accounts payable increase, that's credit. So your entry is debit supplies, credit accounts payable. How much? 30. This is your journal entry. Next, for this one, equipment increase. So asset increase is debit. This is another asset but it decreased. So credit. So in your journal entry, January 6, debit equipment, credit cash. 10. That's it. Next. Okay, cash increase. This is debit. Accounts receivable decrease, credit. So in your entry, January 7, debit cash, credit accounts receivable, write their value, and that's it. Again, you have to remember debit equals credit. What you place in the left side should equal what you place in the right side. So to proceed, let's try the one in black. This one, increase in cash, that's debit. And then increase in liability, that's credit. So in your entry, January 8, debit cash, credit, unearned revenue, 10. How about this one? Let's try this one. Your unearned revenue decrease, so that's debit. Your revenue increase, so that's credit. So in the entry, this is debit, unearned revenue, credit, service revenue, 5. Okay? How about this one? Paid rent in advance. Decrease in cash. If asset decrease, that's credit. This is an asset, right? If it increase, debit. So your entry, January 9, debit prepaid rent, credit cash. How much is this? 10. 10. That's it. Last. So you have your prepaid rent decrease, so that's credit. And then rent expense, if you increase your expense, that's debit. So your entry is debit rent expense, credit cash, 5. So that's how you do journal entries. Very easy, right?